What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Evans Boys YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over our trout setups and show you guys all the different tackle and the different techniques that we are going to use. All right, so let's get right into it. Oh, got one. Yeah. Here it is. This is all that you'll need to go out and trout fish other than your rod and reel. We can go ahead and cover those in a later video, but this is what you're gonna need: a stringer, a good pair of pliers, and your little tackle kit. All right, guys, first thing you wanna do is you wanna get some kind of little tackle box. You don't need a huge tackle box to go out trout fishing. I mainly take this this box right here. It's made by Plano. And what it is, it has a bunch of our different lures and hooks and things. So I have one side that has weights. It has my Carolina keepers, some swivels, hooks, some single hooks, and some floats. And on the other side, this is where I have all my jigs and stuff. We got some flies, some rooster tails, a panther martin, and our mini jig. All right, guys, so here is the first setup that we do, and I recommend it to anybody that's just starting out to go fishing. What the setup is, it's fairly simple. We usually have a little bit longer leader here. It's usually going to be an 18 to 24 inch leader, depending on where those trout are sitting inside that body of water. So the first thing we use is we use a tiny little treble hook. That's probably about a size 14, 16. So we use these tiny little treble hooks, and this is what I like to use, is what they call a Carolina keeper. So this is what we're using right here for those Carolina keepers. You can get these at Cabela's or online. And what that is just these little rubber pieces that go on there. And I'll explain why I choose to do it that way. And then we use some kind of weight, a sliding weight. I like to use bullet weights. And the reason why we use bullet weights is because it goes through the grass a little bit easier. It's kind of like when we bass fish, why we use bullet weights. It's the same principle here. What most people do is they'll actually use a little tiny swivel. The only problem I have with that is since we use such light line, we're using anywhere from 2 to 4 pound tests. When it breaks off, you're gonna have to tie twice. So with these Carolina keepers, it just slides up and down, and I can adjust my leader at any size depth I want. All right, so what we do is when we have this, we like to use PowerBait. This is what they call rainbow PowerBait. It comes like this. I think it's made from Berkley. I don't know what it is, but it drives the trout crazy. It comes in all kinds of different colors. I mean, there's so many different colors. We tend to use the rainbow and corn colored PowerBait. So the way we rig this up is we make a little ball of PowerBait. We take this little tiny treble hook and we're just gonna press it right in there. I wanna cover the whole hook in PowerBait. And so I keep it a ball, but the one key thing I do is I like to pull these tails out and rub it between my fingers and create these like little tails coming off of them. If you guys can see that. All right, and the reason why is it kind of gives it a little bit more action. So when they're kind of floating in the water, it kind of looks like maybe an insect or a tadpole or something like that. Here's an alternative setup to what we just talked. We're still using the PowerBait with the little tail on it, but this time we're actually using a split shot. This is a very simple and easy way to fish. A lot of times I'll fish just like this if we're going out really quick. You do want to put a little bit longer leader here. We usually do an 18 to 24 inch leader, or depending on the size of the water column where you want to kind of fish in. So that's it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The reason why we use a treble hook is the dough actually stays on the treble hook a little bit better. One of the other options is to use these things right here. It's PowerBait, made by Berkley. They're called power eggs. These things, you pinch off a couple, and you're gonna wanna use a single hook on these versus a treble hook. But these things work great. They're kind of made from the same stuff. They just have a little bit more durability. A lot of times we use this and we'll catch 5, 6 fish just off of the same eggs, these power eggs. The next way that we like to fish is using some kind of spinners. So the first thing that we like to use is these are probably our #1 choice, which is called a Panther Martin. They have these little inline spinners that spin around. The trout really seem to love these lures right here. The next one that we have is like a rooster tail. These are very popular. These are kind of used to catch a lot of different fish, but trout really seem to love these too. Their inline spinners have the trebles and a feather as well. One of my favorite lures to catch trout on is this, called a Cast Master. All it is just a piece of metal that's been kind of shaved down, has a different unique shape with a treble hook on the back. I put these little split rings on here to give it a little bit different action, but I have caught more fish on Cast Masters than probably any other thing I've used to catch trout. So here is one of my favorite ways to fish. It's the most fun I've ever had trout fishing. These are called mini jigs. They come in all kinds of different colors. These ones seem to work the best out here. These ones are actually made by Trout Jigz. I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description below on where you can get these. He only makes a few batches of these at a time, so you guys got to get in when he posts them. He does have an Instagram account, but I suggest you guys get these. They work really, really well. They also come in a couple different colors. We have the white, and then we have these ones right here, which is a darker color as well. So depending on how the water is, if it's like really clear, use the dark ones, but they seem to love these yellow and gold ones. Staying on the mini jigs, this is a traditional mini jig. You know, you have a head. Sometimes the weight can be on the inside with the hook coming out, or you could have it more like a jig head. But these, you bounce them along in the water, does the same thing. The fish just seem to be attracted to them. Now, the other one that we use a lot too is what they call trout magnets. I wasn't a big fan of these, but I tried them out and they work really well. What you do is you just cast them out, bounce them along, and the fish come up and eat them. They come in all kinds of different colors. You can buy a whole kit of these. These work really well. So one of the ways that we like to use these trout magnets is to use a small little float. This is also made by Trout Magnet, and all it is just a little tiny bobber, and we'll suspend it down below. So if the trout seem to be hitting on more of the top water, we're gonna go with this, and it's gonna suspend down just like this, kind of bouncing along in the water. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today. We showed you guys our setups and kind of how we fish them. So if you guys have any suggestions of the way that you guys do it, please, comment down below and tell us what you guys like to use. And if you guys want to see any other future or any of our content, past content, check out these links right here. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.